Hey there, all you people who need people. Welcome to Broadway by Ghostlight. I'm Marc Bonani, and this week is part 2 of my personal list of the top 10 musical revivals of the last 10 years.
Please, won't you enjoy part 2 of my wonderful miniseries?
If you haven't seen part 1 yet, you can still watch part 2 first. They're going in descending chronological order, but you should definitely check out that video for part 1 as well. I've been extremely fortunate in my life to have been able to have seen hundreds of Broadway shows.
I love the theater.
And when I pick these top 10s, I don't take it lightly. There's so many options. There's so many to choose from. Sometimes it's just a whim. So anyway, without much further ado, these are my personal top 10 Broadway musical revivals of the last 10 years, 2010 to 2020.
Let's get started.
The first revival up, I'm sure it would be on many people's top 10 list. It's the 2014 revival of Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Though definitely considered a revival, at least by the Tony Award Committee. This was the first time Hedwig and the Angry Inch had actually played on Broadway before it had opened off-Broadway in the 90s at the Jane Street Theater. The rock musical has a killer score by Stephen Trask, as well as a hysterical and really touching book by John Cameron Mitchell, the original Hedwig off-Broadway, who later did appear in this revival, but more on that later. This revival starred the electric Neil Patrick Harris in the title role of Hedwig, as well as the powerhouse Lena Hall as Yitzhak. Her finale, Lift Up Your Hands, legendary.
Don't say legendary, okay? You're too liberal with the word legendary.
This revival, the direction by Michael Mayer was exquisite. All the elements, the sets, the lights, the iconic costumes were all top-notch. This show really took Broadway by storm, and rightfully so. There were several high-profile Hedwigs after NPH left the show. There was Darren Criss, Michael C. Hall, Taye Diggs, and the original Hedwig, John Cameron Mitchell, like I mentioned before. On tour as well, Lena Hall played Yitzhak, but at some performances would do the role of Hedwig. That would have been a very interesting performance to have seen.
Yeah, I'll be your Venus on a chocolate clamshell, rising on a sea marshmallow foam. And if you got some sugar for me, sugar daddy, bring it home.
My next pick may be a little controversial in that it's basically a revival of a revival.
Say what now?
I'm talking about the 2014 Roundabout revival of Cabaret. Roundabout Theater Company brought back their revival of Cabaret, which opened originally in 1998 and closed in 2004. And this production was basically a reproduction of that. Reproduction! But reproduction or not, the show Cabaret is a masterpiece. And this production was and remained revolutionary. Alan Cumming reprised his Tony Award-winning role as the MC, with Michelle Williams as Sally Bowles right before she would go on to film the role of Gwen Verdon in Fosse Verdon.
And she was amazing.
The man, the myth, the legend himself, Danny Burstein, was Herr Schultz, and Linda Emond was Fräulein Schneider. Both of them very touching. Their relationship absolutely heartbreaking. Michelle Williams was replaced in the run by the great Emma Stone, who was really astounding in the role, as well as Sienna Miller, who was the final Sally Bowles. And hot take...
Let me just say something controversial yet brave.
She was my favorite Sally. Sienna Miller just kind of is Sally Bowles in real life, and I mean that as a compliment. Her rendition of the title song Cabaret in the closing performance was something I'll never forget. This revival of Cabaret is very, very special to me. My wife was a dresser on the production during which she was pregnant with and had our first child, Lily, during that run. So we have a lot of very fond memories of our time there, that show, and really those people, that cast and crew, who were just so wonderful with us. It was a magical time.
Welcome, bienvenue, welcome.
The next show on the list is the exciting and fantastical 2013 revival of Pippin.
And the phantoms of the night will fade into the past.
Morning glow is here.
You ain't seen nothing yet, folks.
Directed by Diane Paulus with a circus theme, this revival literally soared with different stunts and magic tricks. It was really, really fun to watch. Patina Miller was deliciously devious as the leading player, and Matthew James Thomas in the title role, Charlotte Dembois, Terrence Mann, Rachel Bay Jones were all excellent. And special recognition to Andrea Martin, who just stole the show every night as the elderly but very spry grandmother Bertha. This production was just awesome, from the opening curtain pull reveal to the haunting finale.
And now the kid goes into a finale, and what a finale!
Up now is a musical I've actually talked about before on this channel. It's the Roundabout revival of The Mystery of Edwin Drood.
Judge each creature of a race by each feature in his face. Just look at him, I rest my case. Well, there you are.
There you are.
And it matters not to me what part of town you come from. We but cheer you've made it here at all. Here within the parish hold the music hall.
Opening at Studio 54 in 2012, this revival had a cast to die for, pun intended.
Hey, jerk, puns are lazy writing.
You had Stephanie J. Block, Will Chase, you had Jesse Mueller, Andy Carl, Betsy Wolfe, Greg Edelman, Jim Norton, and Cheetah Rivera.
Spends his days eyes cast to heaven, spends most nights among that shit. That just popped right out.
It was spectacular. The musical murder mystery where the audience decides the killer as well as other aspects every night, so every performance is different. It was really fun to see and re-see multiple times. Also, the cast produced a music video called Bustle Fluffa, which is one of my favorite things of all time. If you have never heard of or never seen Bustle Fluffer, or if it's been a while since you've seen it, I'll put a link down in the description. You should definitely check it out.
My fluff on my bustle, it's the Victorian era, and all my girls are here for you, including Cheetah Rivera.
The final show on the list is the 2011 revival of Porgy and Bess. I have to admit, when this revival came around, I did not know much about Porgy and Bess, and it had always been on my list of historical musicals to study. And I ended up being the merchandise manager for this production.
Merchandising, merchandising!
So all during previews and through opening, I got to see the show, hear that beautiful, monumental score being sung every night by these titans in their industry. All while reading several books on the history of Porgy and Bess. It was just a really, really fun and really great way to sort of immerse myself in this show, and it was a real treat that I'm very privileged to have had.
Aren't you a lucky boy?
The cast, as I mentioned, was next level. Audra McDonald winning a very deserved Tony Award for playing Bess, as well as the man Norm Lewis as Porgy. Philip Boykin, again, one of my favorite people ever, as I've said before, was a terrifying clown, but he is the sweetest man in the world off stage. And David Alan Grier was a thrilling sport in life. Just like Pippin, this revival was directed by Diane Paulus, and there was a little bit of controversy about the name.
Yeah, started a big name controversy.
Instead of just calling it Porgy and Bess, this revival named it The Gershwins' Porgy and Bess, which several people, including the master himself, Stephen Sondheim, took some umbrage with. They felt that that really diminished the role of DuBose Hayward, who wrote the book for this show, which was based on his play, Porgy, that he wrote with his wife. Like 5 other shows on this top 10 list, this revival won the Tony Award for Best Revival of a Musical, further angering Sondheim and Sondheim fans, I'm sure, by beating out the 2011 revival of Follies.
Awards are stupid.
And that is the list, my friends. What do you think?
Yeah, that was some list.
Which omission is a deadly sin in your book?
Cats. Yes, cats. Good.
Which revival did you forget about that I reminded you of?
I forgot all about that.
Let me know down in the comments. Let's have a conversation. As always, if you can give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, it would really help this channel to grow.
Subscribing makes you feel good.
Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Marc Benani. This is Broadway by Ghostlight. I'll see y'all next time.